Now look, I know you peeped some fine shit out in public before and knowing damn well she looked like she would ruin your life. You shoot anyway. Hey, but not me though. Bitches stay gravitating towards me, so I already know how this shit goes. But it's always a nigga ready to ruin his life over a bad bitch. Which in this case, I can't blame Einar too bad for trying to holler at that. Cause I ain't gonna lie, this is probably the first bad bitch he's seen since getting capped as a slave. Shit, the first slave owner to look at him was on some Diddy type time and ask him where the boys with the cuter faces are at. So he got lucky to get picked up by a guy needing some landscaping work done instead. But this is basically any male protagonist you can think of. The main character is always head on ready to ruin their life over some fine shit. Einar is no different. Just like that man Derek Groves, who'd still be going on a generational run till this day if he didn't argue with this girl. Einar swears up and down it's not like that. But he deadass wants to save her at his own peril. This big, goofy ass simp in denial. Buddy, you're not slick. We all see you. Einar deadass gotta have rocks for brains for getting involved in this shit. But to fully understand how stupid this whole situation is, we gotta walk this shit back to when we first meet Gardar. Alright, so peep this. The scene opens up with what seems like another cozy night on the farm. The soothing, soft crackling sound of firewood in the background fills the air. But something isn't right. As we pan over, we see this woman trying to protect a wailing child. There is blood splatters all over them in the surrounding area. We then pan down to a gruesome sight as we see a lopped off head, split open skull, and that cozy fire cooking another body. This is where we get our first glimpse of the culprit, Gardar. He's standing there, menacingly, with chains still clamped onto his wrist. He walks over to who we later find out was Gardar's slave master, Caliker, dead ass having this man hop away in fear with his lopped off leg like the Pixar lamp. Like, imagine running for your life and this is the fastest you can move. Give it up. You are done for, fat boy. Cause look how this fat ass nigga leap and fall flat on his face trying to escape. You'd have done better just helplessly crawling away because this is just embarrassing for you. Gardar really got this man on all threes begging for his life. But he ain't trying to hear none of that shit as he pulls out the knife sticking out of his chest plotting his next move. As he says, nah, fuck that shit.
That's not enough. I want you to know for yourself what it's like to be a slave. Only then will you begin to understand the depths of the rage burning inside me.
He starts awkwardly laughing and trying to bargain with Gardar. Bro ass really thought he could turn on passive mode after griefing this man for 5 years straight. This fat bastard Caliker deadass tries to turn the tables and become his slave to spare his own life. As he turns himself into a bootlicker, dry thinking this would be enough to sway his mind. Like, I mean, he was gonna get whacked either way, but how down bad as a man can you go by saying this? Gardar takes that shit to heart though and goes, I bet, then die for me. Look at his ass. Did all that self-bitching just to get shish kebabbed anyway. Wipe that goofy ass smile clean off that tubster's face. What a sad state to witness. Hey, but I can't lie though. This gotta be the most valid crash out I've ever seen. I mean, yeah, being enslaved is reason enough. But Gardar isn't crashing out for the sake of freedom alone. These long, torturous 5 years he endured as a slave was only possible by the thought of Gardar getting to be with his wife and family again. If you've seen the thumbnail, you know exactly why his efforts were futile from the very beginning. But I don't blame him for having hopeful optimism, as futile as it is. Especially cause if your enemies took over your land and took your wife away, she is no longer yours, little guy. It was just your turn, buddy. But regardless, he crashes out on his master, escapes, and with nothing but the thought of saving his family, he's off. We cut to Fox bearing the news that Gardar has escaped, with Snake getting the rundown on what Gardar is capable of. He beefs up security patrol and his men set out to track Gardar. They do eventually find him in the morning shortly after this, catching his ass lacking as he's fast asleep against a tree. Now you'd think this would be wraps for Gardar, Gardar. But unsurprisingly, the fat nigga in the group Badger wanna start getting loud and rowdy about them taking Gardar on themselves like the big back he is cause he's too greedy to share. Despite Snake telling his guys to call for backup once they find him. So Gardar eventually wakes up from all the racket and catches them all off guard. They can barely react in time as Gardar lobs an overhead strike towards one of the guys. We then cut to Gardar passing on a horse. Fox and fat ass Badger are not too far behind chasing him. We can see that Badger was injured and we learn that Lizard was taken out. Yeah, see what happens when you let greedy motherfuckers yap it up? It gets you killed. Lose some weight, fat ass nigga. Arnheid seemingly recognizes him. So of course, she runs out to the front of the yard yelling for him. Oh brother, this moment is where it all goes downhill for Gardar. She really should have just acted like she ain't seen shit and let that man die searching for his lost family. Now, I know it seems cold-hearted, but at least she wouldn't have gotten way more people killed for the sake of a bullshit lie that wouldn't even hold up anyway. Like, let's really throw on our thinking caps for a moment. How the hell are you gonna explain away your baby bump and missing son? Watch her say some dumb shit like, he's with your brother. Damn, this bitch is really dumb. Gardar of course recognizes her too and holds his horse, talking about some, at last, I found you. Wow. Does he know?
Stay with me. Without you, my world holds only darkness.
He even takes note about how haggard she is. Yeah, big dog, you gon' find out exactly why in a minute. Einar is in disbelief finding out she had a husband this whole entire time, cause he really wholeheartedly thought they had something going on. Hate to break it to you, buddy, but she played you. That's your master's favorite bop anyway, and she was never actually going. Gardar asks about his son Hilti, and of course, her dumbass gawking around doesn't answer the question. Dry having this man thinking all three of them were gonna be a family again. Snake cuts in to remind Arnheid of her place. With Fox and fat ass Badger closing in, Snake cleaves open their own horse just so he can escape right as he was about to grab Arnheid. The sight of this animal cruelty rightfully pisses him off. Shit, it pissed me off too. Like, bro ass did not have to off the horse at all. You couldn't have drop kicked his ass off its back instead? That shit was just unnecessary. But everyone makes him the bad guy, noting how strange he was acting cause he only focused on his wife as soon as he saw her. Snake then confirms the death of Lizard by Gardar's hand. So he starts talking that shit when Gardar asks if he's that fraud nigga Ketil, as he pretends to be him, rage baiting him even further as Gardar vows to kill him right then and there. Dead ass got this man clenching his crusty ass, jagged ass teeth with them chapped ass lips. Hey, you keep clenching your shit like that and you ain't gonna have shit left but spit and gums. Calm that shit down, cause they look one more pound of pressure from falling right the fuck out. Einar is wondering why Arnheid is calling out to another man, probably thinking of the chemistry he thought they had. This stuns him for a second, and in that moment, instead of being with Arnheid himself, he decides to become a cuck and suits up as Captain Save-A-Ho, trying to jump in. But Thorfinn talks him out of his cuckoldry for the time being. This guy was dead ass ready to get slimed out over somebody else's bitch, yapping about some,
I know I'm not strong enough to kill them all, but I can at least get one.
buddy, no you will not. Snake is gonna do your ass like that horse the moment you try stepping up to him. Like, what the hell could possibly compel a man on his way out of being a slave for the rest of his life to dry ruin his assured passage over some hot potato pussy? Mind you, he ain't even get to crack some buns. She is literally calling out to her baby daddy right in front of you.
Is this nigga serious?
Nah, this couldn't be me, cause the moment I see all this nonsense unfolding before my very eyes, I'm turning on that GTA 5 blind eye option and heading right back to work. Lock the fuck in. This is not a hill worth dying on. Snake notes Thorfinn's logical deductions and starts sizing Gardar up, planning to take him in alive. Filled with nothing but rage, Gardar lashes out at Snake with a blind fury of swings and jabs. He doesn't hit a single thing. Then Badger fat ass on the sidelines yapping to Snake to be careful, like as if his big big ass wasn't the whole reason he got his homeboy Lizard killed, waffling on about being careful when he blew a 3v1 wide open layup cause he couldn't just shut the fuck up for 2 seconds. Go on a run, you fat fuck. Snake gotta tell his big ass to shut that shit up, as Badger's yapping almost gets his chin split by a low swing and barely dodging. Gardar is fuming from all the swinging and missing as Snake swiftly dodges every single strike with ease. Fox chimes in yapping about some just kill him now, but Snake shuts his ass up too with the question of if they even landed a single blow. So Fox had to shamefully admit that they couldn't touch shit. Yeah, exactly, fuck nigga. You are just as washed as fat ass Badger. Like, shut that shit up and let the guy cook, cause your stats are trash. Snake starts grilling them all, asking them how the hell 3 of them lost to a wounded runaway slave. You hear that? Exactly, the sound of no comebacks cause they both know they sorry. Shit, they was proud as hell capturing some hungry little kids but can't do shit when a real stepper slides on the scene. Gardar is at his peak rage with everyone just yapping, so he goes in for another hokey pokey jab strike attack, missing as per usual, gets countered with a liver check, knocking all the wind and rage right out of Gardar and humbling him to his knees. Snake then knocks him unconscious, taking a sigh of relief and getting Badger fat ass to tie him up. We then cut to Gardar wailing and screaming for Arnheid as he's being dragged away, but Arnheid is covering her ears and pretending she don't see shit like she should have done from the very beginning, cause given what we learned later on, it makes this situation that much more fucked up and heart-wrenching. Like, he would have just continued on and would have never had to have lived the potential fraudulent future Arnheid tried to wrap him into. Einar, wanting to talk his shit for that 304 in the back, gets that shit shut down before he could even open his mouth, as Snake says not to say shit cause a slave's opinion doesn't even matter. But of course, Einar's simp cuck ass does not care. He yaps anyway, asking why Snake can't just let them go, chatting about some how it's wrong and yada 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 yada. Will you shut the fuck up, man? That is not your ball. She is the community ball. Let it go. It's over. This man Gardar is lucky Snake wasn't feeling like Pooh Shiesty that day, cause he ain't want to get that shit back in blood just yet and decided to tie him up instead. Now, I don't blame Snake for wanting to take Gardar in alive for questioning, but unfortunately, this one decision will deal a devastating blow to him and his guys, given the future aftermath we will soon bear witness. Snake gives Einar the rundown on why they wouldn't just let that shit slide. He tells Arnheid to just forget that crusty lip bum and Einar to quit simping for other niggas' bitches. We then cut to Arnheid cooking up a pot for everyone with the room dead silent. But all of a sudden, Einar starts uncontrollably shaking and suddenly jumping up ready to start yapping it up. Thorfinn goes to shut that cuck down, but Arnheid cuts in to also get on his ass about that simping shit and telling him to stop and sit back down. Unsurprisingly, Cucknar proposes a plan of sneaking into the fort and freeing Gardar like the #1 simp that he is. But Arnheid shuts that shit down, talking about
sometimes things can't be changed. Let's stay still and wait until the storm has passed.
Yeah, I bet. We will remember that. Einar, unsatisfied, asks if she really loves Gardar for real. Oh yeah, I bet you she do. She love everybody, just not you. I know that shit hurts. Arnheid confirms that she does in fact still love Gardar and speaks highly of his kindness. So who could have guessed? This riles up Simpnar's spirit as he tries to rally everyone to save Gardar. Bro-ass even tries roping Thorfinn into his dumbass plan, but he stays silent. That is until Arnheid cuts in saying she lost her son Hilti over some bullshit like pots and pans. Nah, hold up. You lost your entire village over what? See, motherfuckers just be greedy. Cause apparently, they were basically middle class at the time and didn't even need the iron in the area. So they dry went into battle for the fuck of it and found out. After putting belt to ass, Ketil and his fleet pull up instead, pillaging the village and bringing us to how Arnheid and Gardar ended up at their current positions. Keep this in mind, by the way, that when she says she saw Gardar again, she was apparently apparently terrified of what he had become, telling herself that he's no longer the man that she knew, even going as far as comparing him to the storm that's currently brewing on outside and how she'll wait for it to pass. Okay, Arnheid, you finally starting to talk some sense for once.
So I'll wait and let this pass. I must protect my child.
Hey, wait, hold on. What you mean by your child? That little nigga Hilti is gone. Dunzo. Finito. Banished to the Shadow Realm. I don't know how to make this fact any clearer. Yeah, she got knocked up by someone else. To absolutely no one's surprise, it's by that fraud nigga Ketil. And apparently, she learned this information a few days ago. See, I knew there was some sort of agenda behind that pretty face of hers. Calling out to that man Gardar knowing damn well you were cracked by someone else. You knew what you were doing. Women be so beautiful but evil at the same time. And hold on, why is everyone trying to invalidate this man Gardar's crashing out anyway? If me and my entire family get enslaved and I finally escape after years of torture, you damn right niggas are dying. You are not finna call me crazy for that. Then as soon as I'm about to grab my missing wife, niggas wanna beef up their defense over my rightful ball. All of y'all, especially Arnheid ass, got some fucking nerve trying to say I'm out of my mind. Comparing me to a storm and shit. Bitch, fuck you. Now, I'm not surprised Ketil piped the finest shit on the farm, especially considering the fact they don't even have a name for his wife. That man probably forgot old girl's name like 20 years ago. Now I know why she slapped the shit out of Arnheid. Her ass is really delegated to just Ketil's wife when I tried googling her. Shit, I'd be mad salty too. Ketil really don't give a fuck about that lady at all, and neither does Makoto. But you dead telling me you knew you were pregnant and still called out to that man Gardar? Oh nah, you gotta be worse than a demon. I wouldn't even wish this on my biggest op. You cannot convince me she don't got some sort of nefarious vendetta against this man Gardar for leaving that fateful day, just stirring up chaos for the fuck of it cause she's mad he left. But she reiterates to Einar to let the storm pass cause she just wants a peaceful life with her second baby daddy and child. We then immediately cut to Arnheid being haunted by the memories of her taken son. Yeah, you know where this is going. All that yapping she just did a minute ago was all cap, as she tries sneaking out of the house thinking she's slick. But the old man in bed, Sverkel, was just pretending to be asleep, as he starts grilling her ass about everything she just said prior. She starts yapping out of her ass about tending to his wounds. No. We know you really trying to tend to that original baby daddy dick, and while you pregnant with another man's baby. Yeah, we know what you are, Cardi B 2.0. She knows what she's doing is wrong and questions herself. See, this is why you don't try to wife up single mothers. They will always go back to their baby daddy no matter the lifestyle. Sverkel surprisingly starts to empathize in this situation, making Arnheid close the door to hear him out. She starts breaking down after hearing everything, as that man Sverkel starts yapping about her having a choice to make. The fuck you mean she got a choice to make? The only sane path to take here is to leave Gardar be. Like dead ass, she already got pumped by another man. This old ass nigga really pulled the I don't know though, so he can't be held legally responsible in case she fucks everything up. So of course she makes the choice to open up that door and step out to quote unquote tend to his wounds, capping out of her ass saying, I'll be back soon. No, she will not. She is not showing back up to that house till like 6 a.m. in the morning, and probably hitting Einar with that sorry, I got like so drunk last night with my friends. She is really fucked in the head for this, and she dry finna give that man Gardar hope and a strong will to live after he sees her again. She already knows he's gonna get knocked off anyway, so what's the point in tending to his wound? Just let let the man die in peace. Oh my god. She then sets out, and we cut to the sore side of Gardar looking like the aftermath of a bad Twitter take. We see him left bloodied and tied up as Arnheid finally makes it to the fort. But right as she pulls up, she runs into Snake and Fox right as they're about to head out. So of course she asks them if she can tend to his wounds, which Snake quickly shuts down. But she yaps about how Gardar's wounds might fester. So Snake then hits her with that.
I don't give a fuck, Keisha.
As he reminds her how he slimed out one of his guys and then tells one of his other guys to escort Arnheid back to Sparkle's house and dips. She then of course gets to pleading with the escort, which he immediately gets flabbergasted just off looking at her. Like, what's up, bruh? What the hell is going on with all these simp ass niggas, dog? Bro is dry about to ruin his whole career with a forced early retirement plan from life in the next 2 minutes all over some community pussy. She is literally trying to tend to another man right in front of you, and all you can do is blush like a little schoolgirl and fold. But I bet we gonna let you cook, don't worry. So he pulls up on the rest of the crew with Arnheid, and everyone immediately starts pressing him on why he's with Ketil's #1 bop. So he reaches into his ass with the mungiest of all bullshit excuses, talking about some
the boss gave her permission to see Gardar so she could treat his wounds. I'm not lying.
But that bullshit excuse was enough to get everyone off his back. A decision that would directly correlate to their inevitable downfall. So Arnheid calls out to Gardar, and he immediately perks his head up before she could even finish her breath. She's still battling the moral dilemma in her head as she goes to caress him, but pulls back asking him if he has any other injuries. Genuinely thinking about their potential future already. He tells her to cut his rope so they can go home. This raises some suspicions, but Simp Boy over here shuts it down cause they don't have any weapons. But Bandana Man can smell the real reason she's here and starts taunting her.
Though it's not like his cock is tied up. You can still treat that, right?
Treat his cock.
Ooh. Bandana Man must have that D1 hoe sense on max because he is correct. Arnheid, with no comeback whatsoever, turns back to Gardar in shame. But that's when he finally has a come to Jesus moment, droning on about how it was all a mistake and how he'll do better. And all Arnheid can do is bust out the fake waterworks because despite him saying all this, she still doesn't tell him about their son or her pregnancy.
Let's start over. We can go back to how it used to be.
I just know she's getting a kick out of this. I just can't prove it. Like, she deadass lets him yap on, thinking nothing happened to her. She is dry torturing this man without any physical pain. She is evil. Gardar really thinks they can just start over. Oh my god, he doesn't know. So she cries even harder while apologizing. This man really can't put 2 and 2 together. Brother, she is the farm master's boss. That's why she doesn't want to tell you what she's apologizing for. Yo ass is getting her flowers and she's getting dicked down by a fraudulent elderly man and you will never get to know about it. Bandana Man and everyone else gets bored of teasing Arnheid as the rain picks up, so they start to head inside, leaving the simp to watch Arnheid and Gardar. So he eventually gets impatient and starts rushing Arnheid to finish up, but she's still wailing and not responding to shit. So he begrudgingly walks over while admitting his sympathy for taking women and tries to get her to move. But in that exact moment, Gardar gets in his Mike Tyson biting duffel bag and lunges forward with nothing but those crusty ass rock chomper ass teeth, sinking them straight into that simp's neck, giving him the freakiest hickey of doom and ripping a massive chunk of his esophagus straight out of his neck. See? Now what did we tell you 2 minutes ago? We let you cook and you're slow simp ass had to find out the hard way. That's why you don't simp for other niggas' bitches. The simp tries clenching what's left of his throat while spewing out pints of blood and stumbling around as he tries to get his get back and unsheathing his sword. But it's too late. He loses too much blood and kicks the bucket right then and there. All of the commotion alerts the guys inside, so they start to get active. So Gardar yells at Arnheid's slow ass to grab the dead simp's knife to release him so they don't get killed. But instead, she still sits there, sympathy farming while fake wailing. As we cut to the next scene, we see the ropes have been cut. I mean, nah shit, she decided to run away with her baby daddy. That is shocking no one. Bitches will always go back to the original ball no matter the aftermath caused by her actions. And don't give me that, oh, but Jusura, she was forced to fuck Ketil. She had no choice. Man, fuck that shit. Does this look very forced to you? Caressing that man at her own free will and all. I rest my case. We then see this man Snake horror farming with this intense glare of malice as we see Bandana Man packed up. Damn, man. Not the bandana guy, man. Come on. I wanted to see that man cook the fuck out of Arnheid hoe ass some more. He was onto something when he seen Arnheid off rip. And I do not give a fuck either. She deserves to get cooked for stringing that poor man Gardar along. But we see the rest of the crew solo squad wipe 4-1. Bruh, Ketil must have hired these sorry ass niggas off of Fiverr or something. Like, how the hell did you lose a 4v1 against an unarmed man? This is the second time he was outnumbered and you sorry ass bums still couldn't take him down? Y'all could have had that man looking like Jiraiya, but y'all got done up like a TSM Daquan solo squad video instead. I'd say retire, but y'all lives are already expired. Get it? Cause they died before they could before.
Shut your
They got severed hands and feet scattered across the ground. That man Gardar must have been in his Jeffrey Dahmer duffel bag, cause where the heck are these guys' legs? Well, given how comfortable he was with biting that one simp's neck off, I can take an educated guess on just where. But one of those retainers ain't completely washed, as we see that one of them landed a critical hit on Gardar with the fat from his stomach being left on a discarded sword. So with that information being learned, Snake gets in his poo shiesty mentality this time as he sets out vowing to get his lick back on his now #1 op, Gardar. We then cut to Einar still moping over last night as he starts yapping about Arneid's life being unfairly shaken up, which while I did agree with this initially, I then remembered the fact that she dragged that man Gardar in with the fraudulent hope that he can finally go home with her and see their quote-unquote kid, instead of just letting that man pass through thinking his wife was somewhere else out there. We cut to Einar and Thorfinn having a morning conversation. Thorfinn proceeds to admit that what he's about to say is pathetic, which it is, but he says he doesn't want Arnheid knowing who he was. If only you knew the conniving, traitorous bullshit she plans on doing with that man Gardar. That shit is leagues worse than killing hundreds of men over the years. They get a mostly painless death, and Gardar gets to live a disgraceful life. Killing niggas is bad and all, but making that man unknowingly raise another man's kid is unprecedented levels of evil no man should ever have to suffer through. But as they're yapping it up, Fox and 2 other retainers pull up and slide on them boys without even acknowledging them. They don't know anything just yet, but Thorfinn puts together that Gardar obviously escaped. Hearing that information, Kuknar gets lit up with intense shock and worry. You can tell where this is going. Captain Save-A-Ho to the rescue! Big surprise. He's already half the distance to Sparkle's house, dashing down the field as Thorfinn is behind him trying to stop that idiotic simp and questioning his lack of a plan. But the only thing on his mind is getting in that cuck chair once again as he mindlessly bolts down the field. Get this cucked out simp Simp a contract with the NFL right now. Cause do you know how quick this man was running to go see somebody else's main thought? Bro ass really straight lined all the way from their shack to Svirkel's house without even slowing down for a single second. Why you ain't have the same energy when it came to saving your sister, fuck nigga? He got all this energy to be a cuck but let his mom die in vain. Get your dog shit priorities in check, you disgraceful simp. As he gets to the top of this hill, he sees Arnheid and calls out for her. Fat Boy Badger spots the two running down the hill, but Snake dismisses their presence so long as they don't get involved. And oh brother, will this one tiny decision cause such an unprecedented amount of chaos of events that will precede this moment. Einar and Thorfinn pull up on Arnheid standing there awkwardly for a moment, but she is well aware that they're here for Gardar, so Einar asks if she knows about his escape. She admits to seeing him and recalls the situation like she just got caught cheating last night. Like the hell you mean it just happened? You had a whole mental moral dilemma after seeing the guy again. Cried about it, sympathy farmed, and actively picked up a knife and cut him loose. Which part of that just happened? Nah, bitch, you just wanted to get piped by your baby daddy for the one time cause you couldn't let him go. Just admit it. Simpnar somewhat comes to his senses and questions why she'd help him considering the giant yap session from last night about waiting out the Gardar storm. But she busts out the fake waterworks again and finally reveals her grand master plan.
By some miracle, Gardar and I could be a family again. I could start over with Ketil's child.
Start over with whose child? This is the shit I was talking about. Never ever in your life, whatever you do, get involved with such malice no matter how bad she is. Like she dry wanted him to come back to her. What the hell is he coming back to? You belong to the streets, lady. The time for coming back home has long passed. And I know this tangent is long enough, but how is this dumbass gonna explain their missing child? It's not like they're gonna get to fucking as soon as they escape. Their entire village was torched, so they'd have to start their whole life over from scratch. Gardar would definitely notice her growing stomach within the meantime. So even if they succeed in escaping, this plan was cooked either way. What a fucking idiot. Then she wanna yap about some.
I still dream.
So, your dream is to have a fake family with somebody else's kid and with your original baby daddy? And all of this after becoming the community cockmuncher too? You are disgraceful. Unfortunately, all this moron's crying and nonsensical yapping is enough to sway both Einar and Thorfinn. As Thorfinn asks about his injuries and Kuknar wants to confirm her lot with Gardar. Bro, what? Did you not just hear the fact she plans on having that man raise somebody else's jit? Oh, hell nah. I'd say you and that conniving wench are perfect for each other, but you ain't nothing more than a cuck. Oh my god, and then this idiot drones on about how if she can't abandon her dream,
Then you'll have to flee together.
I just went on a whole tangent about how this stupid ass plan wouldn't even work. What is this dumbass cuck talking about? Yapping about some that's the only choice I have. Hey, you idiotic dog. You also have the choice to not do a damn thing and let that man Gardar die, saving him from living an impossible life. Minding your business truly is underrated. This bitch must have some sort of mind control to sway men into simps. Cause now Thorfinn, who was once previously the head on the shoulders logical one out the two, decides to join in on their futile vow. Even Arnheid is stunned at how easy it was to rope those two morons into her intricate trap. We cut to one of the retainers spotting a figure over by the tree line. Now, we can tell that this is just Einar, but they don't know that just yet. So, Snake, Badger, Fat Ass, and Spider hop on their horses to slide on who they think is Gardar. Thorfinn is full prone with bugs landing on top of his head, running reconnaissance. So, as soon as they pull off, Thorfinn bolts towards the house while Einar runs in the opposite direction. He then pleads with Sverkel to use his cart, but surprisingly, he's fully down to get in on the action himself, as he says load him into the cart too so no one questions them. So Thorfinn raises the bed, revealing Gardar's whereabouts, and we see that crusty-lipped human flesh muncher is still knocked out cold. We quickly cut to Einar losing his NFL running back prowess as he starts getting winded, but Snake can tell something is off. So he tells Fat Boy and Spider to keep the running simp occupied as he breaks off to start heading back to the house. We then see the cart prepped and ready to load so Thorfinn can commence this futile escape. But the moment Thorfinn sets Gardar down, we see that man Snake pulling up, winded as hell. Seems like his hunch was correct. Thorfinn freezes in his tracks and turns to see Snake walking him down. So Thorfinn goes to cut him off, but Snake is not trying to talk about shit as he unsheathes his sword and demands the turnover of Gardar. Otherwise, he can catch that smoke with him too. But instead of using any percent of his brain and backing off the moment he said that, Thorfinn starts plotting on doing a clean, weaponless takedown. Need I remind you of what happened to that horse the other day? Yeah, he is gonna do your ass the exact same way, just like I told Einar's dumbass. Like, I still can't believe this guy is dead finna risk his life so Arnheid can lie to her husband. What the sack is driving such stupidity into this man all of a sudden? You are on your way out of being a slave, so what the hell could possibly compel you to pad your runtime in this fuck-ass place? Einar's undying sympathy must have rubbed off on you. Watching him going out like this is genuinely heartbreaking, but now I'm forced to put him on the sympathy list with Einar and that one dumbass simp from the fort. Like, is everyone in this show except Snake and Bandana Man allergic to common sense here? Snake, sensing the stupidity emanating from Thorfinn's walnut brain, starts walking him down again. Look at this guy's face. His heart not even in it for real. But he lunges a stiff jab at Snake anyway. He flawlessly weaves that shit and counters with an overhead slash, as Thorfinn barely manages to dodge and parry that shit while backflipping out of there. It was so close, even Ascalon's ghost tells him to lock the fuck in. So he does exactly that and gets into his classic two-knife stance. They stare each other down for a bit, but they get right back active. Thorfinn barely avoids his chin being split, but Snake, keeping the pressure, lobs a combo of swishes and jabs as Thorfinn is barely dodging them while noting his speed. But he is not slowing down as he lobs another fury of swipes at Thorfinn. So to counter, he clocks a kick at Snake's head, which he dodges, but gets caught by a second left leg hook that actually connects as he backs off again. Snake asks the same question I had while watching this.
Is he serious? What does he think he can do?
Like, deadass, bro dry brought nothing but hands to a sword fight. But in the midst of his own questioning, Thorfinn cuts in with another straight arm jab that Snake avoids as he retaliates with another slashing spree. But that shit gets countered with a gut check from Thorfinn. So Snake tries to scalp him for that, but Thorfinn gets in his Rock Lee Duffy as he gets low and starts lobbing a combo of acrobatic kicks and punches. So Snake dials back a heavy sword swipe, but Thorfinn, still in his Rock Lee Duffy, vanishes and hits Snake with his very own Nordic Leaf Hurricane, turning that man Snake into a lazy river floaty from Six Flags. So Thorfinn exploits off the opening with another jab strike, but right before this man could even touch the ground, he somehow slides his sword across the ground, giving him enough leverage to not only slash Thorfinn in the face, but somersaulting away while keeping on his feet. I don't know how the fuck he just did that shit, but It was too clean, I cannot lie. Snake is getting annoyed from the direction of this fight, so he goes on the offensive with these faster than before, masterful and precise sword jabs, as he nonchalantly reverse handles his sword, but with much more focus this time. He is really trying to turn this nigga into a piece of Swiss cheese. Thorfinn is barely dodging his attacks, even copping a little trim off the top, so he focuses on the strike pattern. But unfortunately, that was just bait to keep his eyes off this vicious side kick Snake landed on him. Snake closes the gap, reeling up another overhead swipe, but Thorfinn barely manages to evade it. That is until Snake realizes the shift of their positions. He is right in front of the cart right now. Then he turns around, glaring with intense malice at Gardar. But just as he plans his next move, he gets stopped by Arnheid and Thorfinn, pleading with him not to off Gardar. Arnheid even had the nerve to tell him to just let it go. Just like me, Snake scoffs at that bullshit. Sverkel old ass even pipes up about giving him the farmer's payment for the death of his guys, but Snake swiftly shuts that shit down. He don't give a fuck about none of that. Ain't no amount of money is worth the lives of his comrades. See, this is exactly why I was rooting for Snake the whole time, cause he a real ass nigga. But since no one had a real rebuttal to Snake's vengeance, he reverse grips that sword and plunges it directly into that chappy-lipped cannibal's chest, freezing everybody in their tracks. Arnheid drops to her knees in shock after witnessing this, cause who's gonna pay her that child support now after finding out she tried to flee? Yeah, it's raps for you, lady. Now you gotta get a job. Snake can tell that Thorfinn don't want to fight no more, and he correctly gathers that Arnheid set Gardar free in the first place. So now he's about to let him know what's gonna happen next. It's finally finished. Snake finally got his vengeance, or so we thought. In the midst of giving them their punishments, this rocky road chappy-lipped ass bastard launches up and wraps his arms around his neck, strangling him. Unfortunately, Snake couldn't counter in time, so he easily gets caught as he starts flailing around, even poking Gardar in the leg a couple times. But he didn't flinch a single bit. It's looking like it's wraps for Snake, so Thorfinn tries to break him apart, but it's not working either. So Arnheid, taking her sweet ass time, finally speaks up, saying, "Let's go home," with that being the only thing to release his grip. But you can see through his eyes that he's already halfway to shaking hands with the Grim Reaper. Bitch even got the nerve to say Hilti's waiting. Oh yeah, I bet you he's waiting. In the fucking afterlife. That little nigga been gone since before y'all even became slaves. The fucking audacity here is insane. But this finally gets him to drop Snake, even returning the light to his eyes, which doesn't even matter cause you know he's already dead. Gardar asks about his son again, and Arnheid finally answers this time, but of course she got a dry lie saying he's with Gardar's brother. But us, we know where lil bro really at. Hey Arnheid, you dumb fuck, you wouldn't have to dry lie to this man and causing this gigantic mess of a situation in the process if you didn't give that man a stronger will to live. Trying to lead that poor man into the worst type of lie a man could go through in his life, instead of pretending you didn't see that man from the jump. Fuck out of here, you evil bitch. I despise you. Got this man planning on giving his brother a gift of thanks for taking care of their son and shit. Oh my god, he will never know. Arnheid is really evil for this shit. Sverkel ends up giving Gardar permission to use the cart to go get his quote-unquote son. Arnheid, hoe ass, couldn't even be bothered to wait for Einar either, as she tells Thorfinn to give her thanks to Einar, and that's it. This the shit I be talking about. See what happens when you cuck yourself? You get nothing but a measly thanks as she quickly dips on you. Like I said before, never be that guy. We cut to Arnheid and Gardar traveling on their way. Bro, look at this man. He looks battered and broken. Like, you're telling me this was a better outcome for bro instead of just ignoring him that one day? How many times do I gotta call out this bitch for being evil? Gardar's cutting in between the underworld world and the real world as he barely holds on to consciousness. The only thing on his mind is his family before the battle, but he's just about ready to croak. So they have a final conversation about their son, which by the way, Arnheid still hasn't told him what really happened to him. She couldn't even be bothered to at least leave him with the truth. Gardar sets his head down into Arneid's lap as he finally kicks the bucket. Gardar opens up his eyes again, but this time it's in the afterlife. He sees his son again and they reunite, finally bringing Gardar to peace. You see that? We could have skipped the nonsense and let that man go back to his son off rip. I'm glad he didn't get tricked into a fraudulent future and croaked before she got the chance to fully realize her disgraceful wicked plan. The scene pans out to a group of retainers catching up to the two of them as she weeps over her lost child support method. Now this situation doesn't end just yet. Notice how I was calling Ketil a fraud throughout the video? Yeah, we gonna expose that fatso real quick. So Leif returns with Thorgil, Omar, and Ketil, who Thorgil rolls out of this barrel as he mopes over Omar and Thorgil's 2v5 clutch. But unlike that fraud nigga Ketil, Thorgil is immediately on go as he rallies everyone in the area to start gearing up for the upcoming battle ahead, while Ketil is still on the ground with the only thing on his mind being Arnheid. So he just stumbles off back to his house. As he arrives, he sees the house completely devoid of Arneid's presence. He then runs into his wife, who tries to strike up a conversation, but that man ignored everything she just said, only asking about Arnheid. So she begrudgingly gives Ketil the rundown on the entire situation that went down during his time away from the farm. So Ketil finds out she tried to run off with Gardar. Bro is in utter disbelief learning this information as he riles up with rage after hearing it, talking about some how could she? Bro must be new to the game cause a bitch will always have love for her original baby daddy. Catch up, player. We then cut to Arnheid being tied up in the horse stables. The guard watching over her eventually gets bored and starts feeling on her like a fucking weirdo. But thankfully, Ketil showed up to stop that freak from going any further, dead scaring that nigga stiff in his tracks. He tells the guard to skip fucking daddle as the camera pans over to this thick ass stick he must have found while stumbling over here. Oh brother, I unfortunately think I know where this is going. He starts walking towards Arnheid with a dead cold expression while questioning why she tried to run. She's yet to say a word, but suddenly Ketil viciously cracks her in the side of her ribs. She riles in pain, but he doesn't care as he keeps questioning her. Then he shoves the stick directly into her stomach. She tries telling him she's pregnant, and he's almost taken aback by that, but he questions that too. He's not believing a word she says as he just starts wailing a massive beating on her. Oh my god, this is hard to watch, but this is exactly why I was calling this fat bastard a fraud throughout the video. He wanna beat the fuck out of pregnant women, but is scared of his own son. He got that fraud ass nickname Iron Fist Ketil, but only wanna pull that card on a woman. Like, why he ain't have that same energy for when Omar stood up during his audience with King Canute, or when he pulled up to the aftermath of Omar and Thorgil's 2v5 clutch. This fat fuck was shitting bricks when he learned he was in King Canute's sights and shit. Nah, go try that shit with Thorgil, bitch ass nigga, and let's see what happens. I might hate Arnheid down to her guts, but in no way did she deserve getting wailed on like that. This fraud ass fat nigga deserves to get his ass beat for this bullshit. Fortunately, he gets his neck swing caught as Snake finally arrives on the scene before he could continue. Look at this fat motherfucker panting hard as hell after beating a defenseless pregnant woman. That's the most exercise he's ever gotten in his life. Go beat on a diet, you fraud ass fat bitch. Snake finally gets him to let go. And that's when we cut to Einar and Thorfinn seeing Arnheid bloodied and banged up. Potter unfortunately reveals that she may never wake up again. We next see her loaded onto a cart still in horrible shape, as we cut to her slipping into the afterlife herself. But she pulls herself back into the real world to have one final conversation before she kicks the bucket. She reveals that she miscarried, so now she has nothing binding her to life anymore. She then falls unconscious again as Thorfinn begins CPR and Einar, once again simping, reveals his love for her. But it's all futile. She tragically passes away as Einar screams at the wake of her death while still trying to bring her back himself. See, this is why you don't be a simp in life. Even in her final moments, she did not say that shit back to him. But Einar's unyielding sympatry reignites as his face swells with rage the moment he sees Ketil, while Snake pulls up on him with Ketil on his back. Hey, but this fat bitch got his karma before this point when he got his skull crushed in by one of King Canute's soldiers during his hostile takeover. Yeah, that's what your fraud ass gets. Notice how he couldn't try that same shit he did to Arnheid onto them soldiers? Exactly. Fraud ain't even enough to describe that bitch-made ass nigga. Einar starts walking him down, vowing to kill Ketil as Thorfinn tries to stop him. But Einar gives him a stiff jab as he tries to continue. That's when Thorfinn knocks the spit out of his mouth, shaking some sense back into him, as they both start breaking down because killing Ketil won't bring Arnheid back. Nah, fuck that shit. He deserves a fate worse than death for putting his hands on that woman like that. You know what I would do if I was Thorfinn. That's right, turn on that GTA 5 blind eye option. I'm not finna stop that nigga from doing shit. In fact, I'd encourage it. Wicked plans or not, she did not deserve that shit. The fuck is wrong with this fraud ass fat bitch? We then see everyone standing over Arnehd's grave, and with that, we finally come to a close. Now, what lesson did we learn from all this? That's right, never under any circumstances ever get involved with the community throat goat, no matter how much fine shit she is. And damn sure don't be the one knocking her up like that fat ass fraud Ketil. Mind you, she did not look very forced to be in that bed with his fat ass either. She was dead ass willfully replacing her lost family up until she saw Gardar again. But even if she was forced to have that kid with Ketil, which they did not imply by the way, she was not gonna tell that man Gardar a damn thing to get him to live a fraudulent future. She can pull one over on that cuck Einar, but you cannot fool me. I can smell you. Thorfinn, you need to work on your mental manipulation resistance skills, cause you were pretty solid in the beginning, I can't lie, but you got swayed in the second half. Einar, you need to quit simping for other niggas' bitches, especially when they're already involved with multiple men. That shit is not worth dying for. Gardar, you deserved way better, man. Breaking free of your torturous slavery to save your family. Whole time, your girl got knocked up by an old man and your son is dead. It was a perilous, fraudulent expedition. And don't think I forgot about the two-headed goats themselves. That being Snake and Bandana Man for their immaculate display of sympatry resistance. Snake wasn't going for shit Arnheid said, and Bandana Man deep fried her ass at the fort. Rest in peace, Bandana Man. You will be missed. But that's the end of this video. Like, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next. Alright, get on and get.